Hello and welcome to the Twice Upon a Time panel discussion with Brian Corrigan and Joey Morgan, who both have channels that are excellent, if I do say so myself, linked in the description, which you can go and check out, and I highly recommend you do. Hello, Joey and Brian.
Hello.
Hello there.
That was a feeble Tom Baker impression.
Yes, it was.
I mean, you should be beaten in the street.
It's too early for my actual Tom Baker impression, all right?
Which is also shit.
Yeah.
You did do one.
Don't blame the hour of the day for your sweet Tom Baker impression.
He does a good Alpha Centauri impression, but does get incredibly annoying after a few minutes.
I don't know. Mags seems to like my Tom Baker impression.
Yeah, well, Maggie likes anything to do with Tom Baker.
All right.
Anyway, why we shouldn't be gossiping. This is not a podcast where we gossip about various people whom we are acquainted with. This is
true.
Twice Upon a Time, which is a Doctor Who Christmas special released in 2017 and written by Stephen Moffat. So,
Judy!
I actually forgot to write the categories thinking about it, but I'll just make it as I go along. So what did you think of the 12th Doctor in this episode?
Peter Capaldi did his Peter Capaldi thing. You know, it wasn't quite anything special, I would say, but it was enjoyable enough. You know, Peter Capaldi acted the way he usually does. It wasn't like inconsistent or anything.
Yeah.
Let me give you a deep, meaningful speech without it being actually deep and meaningful.
Yeah, that's one of the criticisms I have.
Just be kind!
But at least it's better than last Christmas, where he didn't even feel like the Doctor.
Yeah, like Capaldi, like compared to his last Christmas special performance, like yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's Capaldi's only bad performance is the return of Doctor Mysterio.
Everything else I could say, like, I enjoy Capaldi in, but this was just, I mean, like, this was good. It was a standard Capaldi performance, but yeah, I agree. Like, Mysterio was just awful.
Yeah, but the thing is, while Capaldi did a superb job with the material he was given, the material he's given is shit. Well, not that shit, but still a bit shit, considering, you know, like, he's going about, the children understand your name. It's like, what does any of this mean? It's meaningless prattle that Stephen Moffat's trying to pass off as something intellectual or meaningful.
I think
it's ridiculous.
Well, Stephen Moffat actually thinks his name is Doctor Who, so I think has something to do
before
with.
I move on, I forgot to say that actually Pete Capaldi did help write the ending speech, so maybe, you know, that's why it was even more nonsensical than his usual fake, meaningful speeches.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty indifferent to the
aligned correctly. The children know your name.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know why.
I'm indifferent to. Oh, sorry.
But why were people praising that speech? What the fuck was good about it? It meant nothing. It was meaningless bollocks.
Peter Capaldi quoting himself from the past and then going on about children and his name.
Yeah, God.
Yeah.
It almost puzzles me more than the hybrid did, this thing about the children. I mean, what does that mean? It's not like you just say, oh, well, Moffat will explain it later, because Moffat's fucked off, thankfully.
The line, never ever eat pears, was the one that made me go, fuck you.
Yeah,
the
it was...
entirety of it made me go, oh, fuck you. I was actually relieved when he regenerated, because that speech finally ended.
Oh, this speech is so terrible.
The speech, like, I'm indifferent to because, like, it wasn't quite as, I don't want to say self-indulgent, because it still was self-indulgent.
It wasn't as pretentious.
Yeah, like, as, like, previous speeches, but this was still pretty bad, but maybe it's just the fact that it wasn't as bad as previous speeches that I just really didn't give a shit.
Well, I think the reason why it wasn't as bad as other speeches is because it literally didn't make any sense. Like, the other ones are just rolling your eyes because it's just, like, pretentious bollocks. With this one, it literally doesn't make any sense, so you're just kind of like, what?
Joey, the fact that Stephen Moffat has amped up your shit taste buds is not a good thing.
Oh,
you accept things.
Joey,
like I should accept
Joey,
things.
I should have found shit about this, but like it's to the point where I am.
You have lower standards now because of Stephen Moffat.
Yeah, it's not a good thing.
I'm not saying it's a good thing.
Although, honestly, aside from the last 15 minutes, Capaldi was okay for most of it. Despite the fact that I still think his Doctor's a wasted opportunity and he shouldn't be whimsical or anything. Because that just doesn't suit Capaldi's acting prowess at all.
Yeah.
But those last 15 minutes where, it was basically like, ego stroking the era and being ridiculously self-indulgent and having crap speeches like that. That did annoy me. But, he's been worse. Namely Series 9, apart from Heaven Sent, where he's amazing, of course. But, so it was okay, I thought. Aside from some very, very major problems that annoyed me. I can't really be too harsh on it.
Yeah, it's generally just an average Capaldi performance, like Joey said.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's move on to possibly the most meaty and controversial bit of this video, the First Doctor, and I'll let you two take the floor for this.
Brian,
Joey can
start.
go first. No,
oh, okay. All right. All right. So I rather enjoyed the First Doctor in this. The script didn't work in David Bradley's favor. However, I thought that David Bradley took the script and made the best of it that he possibly could. He's still playing the First Doctor, and he still made it as believable as he possibly could, in my opinion. I think that the parts that were out of character for the First Doctor, the sexist jokes, the constant questioning of everything, David Bradley took those lines and still made it somehow believable. I didn't think it was in character, but I still thought that those lines I could still see William Hartnell saying, but that's solely down to Bradley's performance, which I absolutely loved.
Well, I would go a lot further than you, Joey, I think, and say that it's just so completely poorly characterized, even Bradley doesn't really save it, despite his good performance. Because Stephen Moffat clearly doesn't care or like William Hartnell's Doctor, and as such, he's completely mischaracterized him. If you want proof of that, I will link a video in the description which shows you a video of him in an interview in 1995 where he basically says the 60s Doctor was shit. But anyway, to kind of say why he's completely mischaracterized here, the First Doctor is meant to be a kind of mysterious and thoughtful figure who's always one step ahead of everybody else, and as you say, he doesn't really ask questions, he just goes around looking at things and thinking about them and being generally enigmatic. Whereas in this, he's just a fucking old fart. That's all he is. He's basically just like your sexist granddad kind of figure. And that
which isn't right.
Doctor is. That's not
I'm going to jump in here.
All he ever was.
Let me jump in now. Okay, so, First Doctor was never really sexist. I don't think the producer of the show would have allowed that to happen at the time, since she was, in fact, a woman.
It definitely didn't happen, because nowhere in the First Doctor era you will find him saying something that is sexist.
Well, Jolly Good Smacked Bottom did actually happen. There's like the odd line here and there that's a bit cheap.
But it was never quite as prominent as
it was never prominent. It was never part of his character.
Right. The Smack Bottom bit in Dalek's Invasion of Earth, that was more kind of foreshadowing Susan's exit and showing that she's outgrown his kind of, authority, like grandfatherly authority kind of thing. Like, that's not based on sex, that's just like, back then it was normal to kind of give your children a jolly good smack bottom when they don't behave, regardless of gender.
Which is the way he sort of said it to Bill in that one scene, though.
But Bill is not his child, and Bill is a fully grown adult.
In a way, so is Susan, but
she was 16 and she was married off early to some Irish prick.
But
I'm not going to defend the Daleks' Invasion of Earth that much.
There are some real bad lines here and there in the 60s, but it's never prominent. It's never a major part of the show. And having the First Doctor like that in this episode, it's sort of giving a middle finger to that.
It's insulting. It's really insulting to the amazing character crafted by all those wonderfully talented producers, writers, and William Hartnell himself.
I won't lie though, I did lack at one of the lines, but that was because it was completely unexpected.
Or was it the woman made of glass one?
No, not that
Was it
one.
the
It was
Jonathan
actually
one?
yes, that one.
Yes, that one made me laugh. But I don't think it should have been in there. But it just took me so
No, it
completely
shouldn't
off
have,
guard.
but
Yeah, like
it was shock humor.
it's strange, like how the joke shouldn't work in the context, but like some of them do land for some reason, even though they're completely out of character.
I mean, I describe the first Doctor's characterization in Twice Upon a Time as crass.
Yeah, it's not a correct interpretation of.
Yeah, it's just it's in poor taste. It's just literally, insulting a really well-made character for the sake of a few jokes.
And it does just fall down to the fact that Stephen Moffat clearly doesn't care
it also
about the
makes the Doctor look like a fucking asshole. Like, to anybody new to the show just watching this episode, which, if you are, I'm so sorry. Yeah, that the Doctor doesn't really look like a good person right now.
I mean, the first Doctor was always a dick, but it was in an endearing way. It was like, oh yeah, you're a bit of a bastard, wily old bastard, aren't you? Rather than, why, you sexist pig, gonna throw you in fucking jail.
Yeah. This made the Doctor unlikable.
There was, however, a moment that I will say that Moffat really did get the first Doctor's character right in when they're looking at the glass lady.
Yes,
and Capaldi puts on his sunglasses and he says, like, just look at her, take the sunglasses off. I thought that was really well done in the first Doctor's character.
But that's not really a character. That kind of just shows why I hate all of this Sonic shit. Isn't it more interesting when, rather than just pointing the magic wand at things, the Doctor just works out things through observation?
Mm.
Yeah.
The first Doctor always was that. In other multi-Doctor crossovers, in that, like, he would kind of take them back to, to force the other Doctors to take a step back and look at it from his perspective, which was just put simply a more simple perspective of things.
Yeah, stop dilly-dallying. That's what he tells the first and second Doctor and the three Doctors.
I tell you what, though, it is a really melodramatic scene. I did enjoy it. It's the one where the first Doctor gets to glimpse at his future.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that because it was feeding it the whole Doctor worship kind of thing, where it's like, ooh, he's space Jesus.
Well, yeah, but
but I did like the kind of like horrified look on the Bradley's face after that was all shown to him.
Because you do look at that. The Doctor isn't a good person. Like, they're not making him out to be a good person there.
Well, I think they rather are, but oh well.
No, because look at Hartnell's face. He's fucking horrified at what he sees.
Did you not see the scene earlier where it's like, how on earth does good beat evil? Well, Doctor, perhaps there's just a bloke that goes around sorting everything out.
Well,
he's
that's not what I'm talking about.
Jesus. It's like, this episode is still very far entrenched in this whole Doctor worship shit.
It is, but that's not the scene I'm talking about. This scene where Hartnell is horrified.
Moving on to the next bit, and we're going to talk about Bill.
Wow.
Okay. So Bill's in this episode, and she exists.
Yeah, I mean,
and she really doesn't need to.
As Moffat said, when he literally 2/3 through writing the script, was like, oh, I know who I'd like to see come through that door. Bill. And that's what he actually said. Yeah, that's the reason why Bill was in.
And you could tell so many times throughout the script that, like, she was clearly not meant to be there. So many times it's just obvious. I don't know what she was replaced by otherwise, but
I know
clearly she was not meant to be there.
I want Bill.
Although, if there's one thing which kind of is good if it's true, does this episode kind of decanonize Bill surviving?
Yeah.
It does.
I'm not sure about what's going on.
It suggests, but doesn't outright say, that she didn't actually get saved by Heather. That was just when she was getting taken out of time to remove her memories.
But then it doesn't explain how the Doctor got the TARDIS in The Doctor Falls.
Oh yeah, that's true. But, oh well. Yeah. Yeah, that's odd.
There's really not much to say about Bill in this.
Well, she's just a bit nothing. It's just, I mean, she's a nice character still, but it's just the same old Bill. And, you know, she even got a sneaky, I'm gay, like, you know, in this episode still. Which
was kind of a funny moment because the way that the captain and the first Doctor reacted to that was kind of funny.
It wasn't funny. I'm sick of her telling everybody that she's gay. If she said it once or twice,
I know. I didn't think the line was funny. I thought the reactions to the line were funny.
Every episode she's in, almost, bar like a few. You know, I'm definitely sick of it, and I don't care if it's funny because I'm a spiteful, resentful prick, Joey.
We know.
I'm glad we do.
Trust me, we know.
Right.
All too well.
So since there's not much left to say about Bill, let's move on to the captain. I've forgotten his full name. It's Alistair Lethbridge Stewart or some...
No, it isn't. It's something like Andre Heppish Lethbridge. Fucking...
What, so he's related to the Chancellor from The Curse of Peladon?
It's like... Andre Heppish Lethbridge Stewart or some shit.
No, I know the middle name is Hamish. I don't know what
Whatever.
the first is.
There's an A word at the start, and I don't know what it is, and he's certainly not called Hepesh or Andre, because that's not a very British name. But yes, I must say,
I actually really liked doing this.
He is my favourite part of the episode. There's nothing bad to say about him. He's just a really, really good character, and Mark Gatiss is such a fucking wonderful actor.
He is. I really liked him in this. I especially like those little moments where he's like talking about his family and things like that. Like he really plays it well. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to see something that's actually deep and meaningful, him talking about the war, that was actually some sad shit. That was actually very well written.
And it's so different from when, like, the Doctor talks about the horrors of war, when, like, it's actually coming from a human character this time, and it doesn't lose all its meaning because the Doctor's an alien. It's actually coming from this character who knows what it's like.
Yeah, he's been through the kind of hell that the Doctor really hasn't. I mean, I suppose some people might say the Time War was, but I haven't really seen any evidence to suggest it was that much worse than World War One, which, you know, was fucking miserable.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what's your thoughts, Brian?
I thought he was probably the most enjoyable character in this episode. However, I do want to point out he's not the Brigadier's father or grandfather. He's his great uncle or something.
Yeah.
Because that would decanonize the Lethbridge Stewart novels, and I don't want that because I like those books.
Well, I'm happy to go along with your canon, Brian.
But yeah, he is a Lethbridge Stewart character.
I think just the point of overall of the end is that he's a Lethbridge Stewart. So
Yeah. But it's just nice.
Which, by the way, that reveal, couldn't we all see it coming from a fucking...
Yeah. Everybody saw it coming, but it was still a nice reveal to have. Like, it wasn't shocking, but it was just kind of nice to watch.
Well, I just think in general that character kind of saved this episode a little bit for me, because he was always enjoyable. There was always something to enjoy when he was in the scene.
Yeah.
Anyway, right, now let's move on to a topic which, I know there's not much of it, but we still have to discuss it, and actually discuss the lack of it, the plot.
Yeah, the plot doesn't really go anywhere in this episode, does it?
Yeah, they
really a
spaceship, plot. They leave a spaceship, they go to an alien place, they leave
figure
an
out
place.
Well, the plot of this episode goes something like, there's these aliens that are taking people's who are about to die memory, some shit like that.
Yeah, to keep an archive.
To keep an archive of all the dead people, and the Doctor finds out about this and thinks it's this great evil plan, so he goes to a planet where there's a huge computer database, sort of guarded by Rusty the Dalek.
No, Rusty is the database.
Rusty is the database, so the Doctor goes to look in this database for these people who are taking other people out of time and stealing their memories for an archive, and it turns out it's not some great evil plan, and the Doctor's just like, well, fuck.
Well, it just feels like there was absolutely no point to it whatsoever.
But
like literally,
what
all
I
that was
liked
achieved
about
I
is-
apologize for the giant-ass voice crack, too.
No, but literally, the only thing that was achieved throughout the entire episode is the captain survived, but only probably for a few more weeks until he was killed during the war. That was it. Like, nothing really happened at all. Which, I'm fine for a nice character piece where not much happens, but it just feels empty and, half-baked. Especially how it almost instantly cuts to them being back on the battlefield after they're at Rusty's.
what I liked about the plot of this, or rather lack thereof, was that it was more of an epilogue piece where, like, it was more somber, and I kind of liked the fact that there wasn't this huge menacing alien threat.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think an episode needs that, and honestly, I'd be glad to have an episode that didn't have that for once, but it's just the fact that literally nothing happens, and it's an hour long.
And then Rusty's in the middle there for some reason.
What?
Which was by far, and then Rusty's in there for some reason, which was by far my least favorite part of the episode. I just could not stand the fact that Rusty was even in this.
Cared about him.
It's like, of all the random things that you could have for this database, you choose Rusty. Like, why? Not that I don't like Into the Dalek. Into the Dalek's a fine episode, but the fact that it was Rusty just kind of like pissed me off.
Yeah. Although I suppose it does kind of, even though I wasn't a fan, I can see why they chose to do it, and I respect it, because, it was the first kind of big enemy that the 12th Doctor met and kind of spurred on this whole "am I a good man" thing. So it does have that nice kind of symmetry and closure.
There was a featurette.
So even though I didn't enjoy it myself, I can respect the choice of bringing Rusty back.
There was this great featurette in the theater I watched it in, where Nicholas Briggs actually says Rusty should get his own spin-off.
Oh no.
Yeah, I saw that.
Please.
And nobody in the theater got it because they only know Nick Briggs is the guy that does the Dalek voices. But
I got it.
But I was there and I was like, wow, he could actually make that happen.
The thing is, the reason Nick Briggs wants that is because then more money, because there needs to be a Dalek voice for an entire box set of audios.
4 box sets if he can make it happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Rusty, the Good Dalek, volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4.
The only good Dalek.
They've kind of ran out of only the good titles, unfortunately. Only the good and only the monstrous are taken.
No, the name of the whole series is The Only Good Dalek.
That seems a bit long-winded. Brevity is the soul of wit, Brian. Cricket noises. Anyway, right, so that was the plot, and the only thing really left to talk about is Jodie Whittaker. What do you think of her?
Yeah, she happens.
I like how she only said, "Oh, brilliant."
Yeah, it left a lot up to the, to the rest of her own era.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that they pulled the same thing that they did with Matt Smith, getting rid of the TARDIS just so Chibnall could have a clean start.
Well, no, I like that, because Chibnall does need a clean start.
Oh yeah, I agree. Chibnall needs a clean start, but they kind of pulled the same crap that they did with Matt Smith.
My hope is she doesn't get it back in the first episode of the series.
One thing I found quite funny, though, is how literally the first time there's a woman driving the TARDIS, it crashes instantly, which kind of leaves it wide open for a lot of jokes like, "Oh, woman can't drive," which I found amusing myself.
Yeah, I do like the fact that
I actually saw people complaining about people making jokes about that, like saying, it's so sexist. Like, it's a fucking joke. And most of the people are making a joke at the expense of people who actually think just because you're a woman, you're a worse driver. So,
yeah.
There you go.
I did like the fact, though, that in her post-regeneration hysteria that she does, that the first thing she does is literally press a wrong button and just fuck up the whole TARDIS.
Yeah, I hope that's foreshadowing of her era, because it'd be quite funny to have a more clumsy Doctor for once. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's wrap this up. Your concluding thoughts, Joey, with a score out of 10.
Score to 10. My initial rating was probably a 7 out of 10. It's probably since changed to a 6 out of 10. I still really enjoy the episode, but as I think more about it, in kind of in the same vein as you, I just start to enjoy it less. But I think 6 out of 10 is where I'm sticking with it. Good episode, somber tone. I really enjoyed it. Nothing really more to say on that.
Brian?
Well, I think what I said for the TV movie sort of goes here as well. It's an enjoyable episode if you don't think about it while watching it or afterwards. So.
But even more so, you need to even more not think about this one. Because at least the TV movie's plot mostly makes sense.
That's debatable, but that's a topic for another day. But yeah, it's an enjoyable episode if you don't think about it. If you do think about it, which we have today, it's going to end up with a rating of about 5 or 4 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I initially gave this in my Raw Thoughts blog post on Amino is 6. However, as we've said, as I've thought about it more, I'm like, wow, okay, yeah, that really was quite shit. 4 out of 10 I'd say is fair, because despite it all the actors put in good performances, the character of the captain is brilliant, and Bradley especially does put in an amazing performance, which I think more than earns it at least 4 points out of 10. Unfortunately, as per usual in the Moffat era, the writing really lets it down. Although not entirely for once, because as I said, the captain is written well. But yeah, 4 out of 10. So, a bit of a disappointment, but can we just agree on one thing? It's the
best New Who Christmas special out there.
No, it's a huge step up from the end of Time and Time of the Doctor.
Agreed.
It's much less self-indulgent than those, thank God. It's still self-indulgent, but not anywhere near as badly. It kind of just felt... It felt a little less ego-wanky and a bit more sweet this time, I felt. Even though I still don't think it should have been there, like, the 15 minutes of going around hugging your companions and shit.
If it was just a story about...
However, Matt Lucas's cameo...
Wait, no. Before we go, the last thing I'm going to say, fuck that Clara return. That was horrible. So now...
I didn't give a shit about that, but what I did care about was when Nardi came back.
Joey, I haven't finished.
What? Oh.
As Stu Bagwell said, which I didn't pick up on this at the time because I was too busy, swearing at myself, it just shows that there's even less consequences for breaking all the rules of the universe, because now he even has his memories of Clara back. Go on, Joey.
Go Hellbent.
So I didn't really care about the Clara cameo. I didn't really care that she came back. I just was really indifferent toward it, other than the fact that the 12th Doctor got his memories back, which did bother me a lot. However, then the Ultimate Bay comes in, Matt Lucas, and just has the most enjoyable cameo in any Doctor Who episode.
Nipples.
I didn't find it that funny, to be honest.
No, I know, it's not that I found it funny, it was just, cool to have Nardole back, because Nardole was easily one of the most enjoyable things about Series 10.
And I liked how they didn't really say anything profound, they just had a group hug. I thought that was nice, even though I still don't think it should have been there, it was nice, at least.
Yeah. They didn't, make it, the most important thing ever, it was just, they really more played it for laughs.
Who wants to beat Hellbent with another hammer?
Alright, so that is the end of the video. So thank you, Brian, and thank you, Joey, for coming on.
Oh, thank Christ, it's over.
Indeed. And so, probably won't
can't stand you shitheads any longer.
So there probably won't be another panel discussion for a while, unless we do a random episode, because Series 11 is quite a while away. But I'm looking forward to it myself. I wouldn't say I'm extremely hopeful. I'm just ready for something new, and even if it's shit, at least it'll be shit in a new way. Because we've been having the same old shit for a while now, and I'm happy just to have anything that's different.
It's been 7 years of Moffat, so...
Yeah, so bye-bye, Stephen Moffat. Good luck with your future endeavours. I did not enjoy your era one bit, but you're gone now, so...
Goodbye with the moth and with the chibbers.
Exactly. And Will you prove all of those people that are saying female doctors are going to kill the show wrong? I hope you do, because that's a very childish way of thinking about things, in my opinion. But anyway, bye-bye!